Hey guys, it's me, and I'm back with another music related video, which I realize I've been making a lot of lately, and you're probably all gonna get kind of like sick of me making them, and I have other stuff I want to talk about. I actually have a list of things I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. I have so much girl media to talk about. But unfortunately, I just don't have as much interest in talking about girl media and well, obviously music is girl media, but I mean like my older content that I would have done, like dolls and stuff. Like I haven't had as much interest in that stuff as of lately, and it's very hard for me to do things when I'm not interested. Yeah, and I just feel like if I was to do a lot of the stuff that I have on my list, I just wouldn't have as much passion for it. So I'm trying to do stuff I actually have passion for, um, which has kind of become just music. There's other stuff that I want to start talking about. Like I want to start doing more commentary based things, like on actually like maybe not political, but like internet drama, internet culture. I like that kind of, I want to start doing videos like that, but obviously I don't really, I kind of like to steer away from the drama. Not really, but like online I do. But I love talking about music, and I thought, seeing as I've kind of been going back into my Taylor Swift obsession as of lately, not that I've ever fully left it, but like because I went to the Eras tour, which I have a vlog coming up about that. So I have kind of been wanting to talk about the Taylor Swift epidemic that we're going through. Last year, I feel like our summer was so centered on Taylor Swift and Barbie. Girlhood summer, we'll just say. This summer, honestly, I haven't been seeing really a lot of anything this summer. Like, literally, the summer has barely even been a summer. The only thing I think that we've gotten that's been kind of cool is Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter. And Charlie XCX Brat. Those have been like the only really cool stuff that's happened this summer. But then, like, last summer, I feel like we just had so much. We haven't even had really that good of movies this summer. But, like, when it comes to, like, um, music, we have been doing good this year. Maybe not just this summer, but this year in music, we've been doing really good. We've had the Tortured Poets Department. We've had Sabrina Carpenter announce a new album with two music videos for the album. We've had Chappell Rowan. Oh my god, I literally forgot to mention her. This summer has been a Chappell Rowan summer. I've been non-stop listening to Chappell Rowan. But yeah, it's been like, I feel like a very music centered year. And we've also had Brat, which was really good. Yeah, I'm just really loving the way music is this year. I honestly am interested to see my Spotify Wrapped. It's probably going to be more of the same, maybe mixed in with a little bit of like more Sabrina Carpenter than you last year. Like last year, my Spotify was Wrapped was basically just Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo, which I'm like, yeah, that's predictable. That's literally my music taste. But this year, I think it might be more interesting because we have Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Rowan, and Charlie XCX thrown into the mix of my for my music taste. That I like. Obviously, I do have music taste that I listen to other than Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo, but it's more just like once off like songs, but I won't listen to any other songs from that band or artist. I will like one song and then I will not listen to anything from that artist. But in terms of like artists I listen to every song of, is Olivia and Taylor, and now Chapel, and now Sabrina. But like, so that's why this year's gonna be interesting because like usually it's just like, oh, we know who you like. It's the same every year. But this year is gonna be the year that we switch things up. Even though it will still be mostly Taylor. Taylor will still be the number one spot. She's been my number one spot like every year, but this year she will be no exception. Of course it will. I've even been trying to be like, I'm not gonna listen to as much as usual, but I still do. So, this video, basically, other than the rambling that I've had at the start of this video, is going to be about revisiting Evermore and folklore. It's been Evermore and folk, and I feel like I've been listening to these albums a lot as of lately because I've been thinking about them a lot and how amazing they were, and how I really think that they saved Taylor's public image. Seeing Taylor's image go from like cringy music that nobody wants to admit they like to like pop music that made it into the mainstream everyone was listening to then a cultural outcast of society. Reputation, everyone claims Reputation is like her comeback that brought her back to what she is, but it isn't. Reputation didn't even make it to the Grammys. Reputation was down in the dumps. It was still doing good numbers wise, obviously. It was still getting very talked about because of the feud, but it was not what brought her back. And Lover, we do not talk about this, but Lover was not loved. Lover was seen as like Taylor's way out. Like people, when that album came out, everyone thought Taylor was on the way out. Obviously, now we do not think that. We look back and we're like, oh, that was a good album for the most part. But Evermore and Folklore is what brought Taylor back. Taylor would not be doing the Eras tour if it weren't for these two albums. Let me just say that. She might be, but it wouldn't be as popular as it is. Evermore and Folklore is what got Taylor critical success and what got people liking her again. She went from just being like that country singer to international pop star, radio music, to then has been, to then actual songwriter of a generation. That is so difficult to do, and I feel like these albums deserve their flowers. So I wanted to go back and revisit these two albums and kind of place the story to why everyone loved these albums. One more than others, as I see a lot of Evermore haters for some reason. I don't really get that personally. I'm like, how can you love folklore and not like Evermore? Evermore is just kind of like the darker version of folklore. Like, you can think one is better, and a lot of people think folklore is better. Do I think it's better? I think they're in the similar league, but I think there's more songs from Evermore that I prefer that makes me think Evermore is better. But like, that's just because I kind of like the sadness. Not that folklore isn't sad either. Folklore is sad too. So another thing I want to say is folklore and Evermore are definitely her. What I realized from re-listening to Evermore and folklore, which I'm not going to be doing in this video because I've already done it. Um, that they may not be my favorite albums, although Evermore kind might be. But they are her best. My favorite will always be Speak Now because I love the edge. But Folklore and Evermore are her best. And I also just want to say that I know I did a review of Tortured Poets a few weeks. Freaking album came out in April. It was literally months ago. But I know I did a review of Tortured Poets, and did really like it in my review, but when you do compare the quality of Tortured to Evermore and Folklore, it really does kind of not, it doesn't like live up to it. And yeah, some parts do. Some songs, if you swap them out, put them in Folklore or Evermore, you wouldn't really notice. But others, I'm afraid, they just don't. Like, Tortured may not be as good her best work. And maybe we'll never get another Folklore Evermore. But I just kind of want to reminisce on how amazing these two albums were and how important they were for Taylor's career and how they really shifted the public image to really know who Taylor was and what her craft is. Okay, so now I just want to go through some of the standout tracks from from Folklore and then Evermore. Folklore came out first. It was in 2020. We all know where we were when this album dropped. And we all realized, damn, Taylor has so much more songwriting abilities than we thought. Um, it's sad that it took us this long to realize it. We should have realized it with Speak Now, realistically. I mean, I kind of did. I was listening to Speak Now over and over again during 2020. That's like, I was obsessed with that album then, especially the song Better Than Revenge. Yeah. Say what you want about that song, but that song is really good. I love that song. Okay, I don't care. I don't care if that song makes me not a girl's girl. I don't give a shit. I don't care if liking that song and screaming the line mattress makes me a bad person. I'm gonna do it anyway. As I was saying, Folklore hit the screen first. It was kind of the more summery, like springy album, one like for one of the albums. And I think the main sort of focus of Folklore was storytelling, clearly, but also relationships and love. And that comes from the love triangle, which was, I think, one of the biggest selling points of this album and this era was how captivating the love triangle is. Like, I could talk about this love triangle and my thoughts on it for literally a year because there's so much that goes into it. Firstly, we have Betty and James, who were dating in high school, and he cheats on her with a more rebellious type of girl, Augustine. And it's just like kind of you see their points of views in their songs, and Cardigan is like heartbreaking, crushing, soul crushing, sad. And then August is like heartbreaking, soul crushing, sad, but also kind of like blissful in a way. Um, and then Betty's is like all country and fun and like, I'm sorry. He just really just ruined two girls' so self-esteem and caused so much pain and suffering onto them, and then just goes, I didn't mean it. I slept next to her, but I dreamt of you. And it's so interesting because we get the other woman's point of view. We get Augustine's point of view on how she did it anyway, but she knew he wasn't his, and she felt like she just wanted to be loved. It's kind of like the vibes I get from the song is like Cassie from Euphoria in season two, because she's like, you know, really sad and just wants to be loved by a guy who she who uses her basically. James literally used Augustine for fun and then left her alone. Whilst for Betty, who he probably respected more, he broke her heart for another and cheated on her. So both women were wronged, and it would suck to be either one. And it's just, you never really think about that because you're always kind of like on the witch hunt of like, oh, the other woman's just as bad. She's just as bad because she agreed to take someone's man. But you don't realize the kind of self esteem issues that go into actually doing something like that. Um, it's usually the other woman can be the victim too because they are doing it for love. They think that this guy is the one. They don't realize they're being used as well. She, they're being literally so like it's kind of like puts another perspective of like she wasn't a bad girl. She just was a girl who wanted to be loved, just like Cassie in Euphoria. Yeah. So the love triangle was one of the big standouts for folklore. I also think illicit affairs, amazing. Kiss, kiss. Um, let's see what else we have. And with this album, Taylor decided to kind of do lean more into the storytelling, obviously with the folklore love triangle, but also with things like illicit affairs, Last Great American Dynasty, which is such a good song. I've been listening to that one like again and being like, I forgot how good this song was. Why was it cut from the set list? Makes me cry. Yeah. And like, This Is Me Trying about alcoholism. And then we have like some songs that are more like autobiographical, like Tears Ricochet, which is a very emotional, sad song about how her, like, I guess you could say, her, like, the Scooter Braun incident with her music being stolen from her by someone she didn't like. It's really sad. Um, so, yeah, like, there was lots of great songs on that album. And we really got to see her storytelling abilities and her songwriting abilities. And we also have a, a suspicious collaborator for that album. We have insert a name, I can't remember the actual name, but it was Joe Alwyn. And he, I feel like, helped Taylor a lot with the more academic lyrics that really, because Taylor, well, she didn't, do an English degree like Joe Alwyn did. So I feel like he definitely made her shine in her and kind of opened up her mind to more literature that helped her write this amazing album. So, yeah, we also just in general have like so much great songs. Now let's talk about Evermore. Evermore was definitely the sadder, more somber of the two. It had very much like fall and winter vibes, champagne problems, right where you left me. The songs are just gut wrenching, to be honest. So sad. Also tapping into the whole storytelling element, like champagne problems being about a failed marriage proposal, which we assume Taylor did not go through. And also, Evermore had way more of like a sad, nostalgic vibe. Like we have songs like Marjorie being about her grandma, we have songs like Dorothea being about a long lost friend, and we also have songs like about the people in her life, like Gold Rush about Joe Alwyn, and um, I assume Tolerated about one of her exes. There's just a lot of sad, like gut wrenching, nostalgic songs. Oh, Willow also about Joe Alwyn. Whilst Evermore we had more like well, not upbeat, but we have Invisible String, a bit more hopefulness in her songs for folklore. But we also, for folklore, I forgot to talk about, she addresses like childhood friends who came from a bad home, more sadness, and then Mirror Ball, which is another amazing one about probably how Taylor feels being in the public eye to her fans. She's a mirror ball. She changes everything about herself to appeal to whoever is looking at her at the time, whether that is a boyfriend, whether that is her fans. And with her whole Eras thing, she feels like she has to change herself to fit in and get us looking at her. So it's a pretty good song, and it's definitely very kind of like evident of now that she's more popular than ever. But all I wanted to come on here and say is that I feel like these albums, we just need to look back at them and just kind of give them their flowers. Not that they never didn't, because they definitely do get a lot of praise. But I just wanted to go back to this very particular time of being a Taylor Swift fan and seeing these albums and really realizing what Taylor is capable of and how like impactful and memorable these were, and how I feel like these are literally just her best work and are going to go down in history as like the best albums of our time. I also just feel like they have a lot of nostalgic sadness to them and great storytelling. So amazing, and I'm going to keep listening to them, to be honest, because they're that good. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully my next video isn't another music related one. It might be, to be honest, because I have another idea for like a topic for the entertainment whole thing. So I've been kind of like nervous to do it because I'm like thinking it might be a little, you know, but it's just something I wanted to make an observation on, and I probably will end up making it. So, yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye.